Hello everybody, this is ByrdiJean. I'm going to show you how I make my soap with low water. This right here is my hard oils and I have melted them completely. Palm oil and tallow. And I've got them sitting here completely melted. Let's see what temperature they are. Looks like they're 177. My lye is sitting here dissolved. And I've got 14% water, and the reason I use 14 is because I have a high superfat in this soap, and the high superfat is going to make my soap a little more runnier or more liquidy, and so I use the 14 because I have 66 grams of water and 64, just barely 64 grams of lye. So I have equal parts, a little bit more water than lye, so I feel confident that 14% water will work. Anyway, I want this to be good and dissolved, and it's been sitting here probably 2 minutes now. See what temperature it is. It doesn't really matter. I've got 181.5 and the palm oil is now down to 164. I'm not even going to worry about it, but I'm letting you know for the purposes of knowing. I find my strainer. I'm going to pour it into this. Here we go. I'm going to stick blend this until it gets thick. And remember, this is hot. Now you can see it's thick. It's like a thick, it's like a thin pudding, really. But that's all I want to do is just stick blend it till it gets thick. And then I'm going to add the coconut oil that is not melted. Stick it right in there. Now my friend Lucy McCain, she taught me how to do this type process, which is a little bit different. So I give her all the credit for teaching me the basics, and then I went on from there with the way I like to do it. And so this is how I do it. Now I've got the coconut oil and it's going to melt on its own, but I'm really not worried about it not melting. There's big chunks in there that's not melted, and all I'm going to do is stick blend again until it gets, if it gets thick. Some batches get thick and some don't, depending on the formula. Really, really thick. This is more like a medium trace, so what you would think of as a medium trace, I think. Alright, now we've done that, so all I got to do is add my liquid oils. All of my liquid oils are added in here together. This is safflower, olive, and castor oil. So I'm just going to pour them right in. Just going to hand stir it a little bit. And then stick blend. And there's my scent. Now look, I have a 14% water. Some people would freak out and will freak out from this, but look how runny it is. Just as runny and usable as can be. Okay, my color schemes, I already have it figured out. I want a bluish black. I have these micas, and in the case of the black, I have cocoa and clay and charcoal mixed together. I like that really well for my black. I don't like as much black as I do the other colors. And although this is not black, it is a dark color, so I'm just going to kind of add some to it. I put a little blue in there. This is very, very runny. This is a runny batch, but it'll thicken up some as we work with it. Also, your scent, if your scent excels trace, that could just go skyrocketing and you could have no time whatsoever. I always make sure that I don't have, that I'm not ending up with a scent that will excel trace at all if possible. And so I've got lemongrass essential oil and paradise reef from Nature's Garden. First to go, I want sea green, what I call sea green. Let's see if we can find that baby. I love these little bottles. I got them from Hobby Lobby. And I think, I can't remember, I believe there's 3 in a package. And they're little bitty, so they're really nice. Okay, so I'm going to do that sea green there. And usually when I'm mixing colors, I will put them all like this so I can see. Do I like that? Was that what I had in mind? I want a little more color. I like that color. I have BBs in here. That's what mixes this mica and oil up and keeps it mixed up as I add more and more to it as the time goes by. And by the way, TD will usually thicken on you. Now we're going to go do some stirring here and see if this is what I want. I apologize, this made, because I'm doing the whole entire thing, this is probably going to be a long video, especially by the time I get the cut on there. I'm probably not going to show you me cutting it, but I will show it cut. How's that? Alright, my layers are going to go, I've already decided, I'm going to go black and gray, then I'm going to go this one, and then this one and this one. What I'm doing is starting with the darkest and working my way up. A little mold set up. I have the wooden little 1/4 inch plywood sleeve is what I call it. It does have a bottom on it, but it doesn't have a top obviously. But it fits my little silicone mold so that it holds its shape. I put plastic in here just to kind of keep the mold from getting dirty because I'm sloppy. And I cooked this in the oven. It never does do anything bad to it, so no big deal. And that's the way I'm going to do it. To do the second color, which we already know is gray, this lighter gray here, I'm going to pour it over my spatula way down low. I'm sorry if you can't see it, but that's part of the problem with videos is if you're not here, you can't really watch as well. Sometimes I work my spatula back and forth so that it will fall the right way. Also, I have my spatula that way. Sometimes it works better to turn your bowl part of your spatula upward and pour. We'll see how that works. And you can kind of direct it where you want to. I actually like that better. You can't get in a hurry. You got to be slow enough. See, this is still pretty runny. Look, it's still pouring. And sometimes I will turn this lengthwise to me so that I can kind of reach all the areas that I need to reach. When you're doing a video, you will end up doing things invariably different than you normally do because you're trying to show somebody in your mind somewhere else instead of right on what you're doing. Alright, now, I'm going to pound it just a tad bit. Don't need much when you have that little water and that runny of a soap. It'll just go where it's supposed to go and no holes, no bubbles. And I'm going to go ahead and do my hanger tool, which is obviously a homemade thingy. And I got to remember, okay, I'm going to do kind of figure eights. I'm sorry, but you cannot do this slowly when it comes to doing this. I can show you how I did it, maybe. Still have time, isn't that amazing? All I got to do now, see, it's a little bit runny still yet. I'm going to be, as soon as this is done, I'm going to put it inside, leave the wooden sleeve on it, plastic and everything, and I'll be putting it inside a wooden box. And I have this wooden box that this fits right in with a lid on it. And I put it in the oven at 170, and this particular recipe takes 30 minutes. I will cook it at 170 for 30 minutes inside the wooden box with the lid on it. So it's kind of protected from direct heat. And what this does, if you don't overcook it, is it will keep you from having bubbles. I'm just going to reach over here and get a soap off the shelf. You'll have a really, really smooth side. No bubbles, you know, on your soap. So that's what you want. You don't want bubbles where these silicone molds are at. They like to overheat in the oven sometimes. So I do that, and as soon as it's done, after the 30 minutes is up, I take it out and leave it on the counter for 1 hour. And then I take it and put it in the freezer immediately and leave it for anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes. Sometimes I forget and it's an hour, but you don't really want to wait very long or you'll have a frozen soap, and it's really hard, in my opinion, to get it to not be too hard to cut. Then you got to wait on it to thaw out. Then it's runny. I mean, it's got water on it, you know, from the moisture. I don't like that. So 15 to 30 minutes at the most is usually all it takes. Last year alone, in 2015, I made 850 batches of soap. That's the ones that I wrote down and recorded. Usually I do write down and record them. If they're a failure or if something didn't work like I had planned on it to work and it just looks ugly to me, I'm not going to keep it. And if I don't like the recipe, if there's something went wrong with the recipe, I will throw the recipe out. You know, as far as throwing it out, that just means delete it off my computer.